All right, I am here. Had to get my picture added to the stream. Otherwise, it would have been a blank black stream, and that would probably not be much fun. All right, so I am here for day 2 of the Vendoo cross-listing challenge. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my presentation. We're also going to be diving in to more inside of Vendoo, so you can see it actually demonstrated and it actually working, me using it, and all of that. So I'm going to go ahead and get the presentation pulled up here. Get back to the beginning. And there we go. All right. So again, this is day 2 of our 3-day cross-listing challenge. And again, a huge thank you to the sponsor of this challenge, Vendoo, for making this challenge possible and for me being able to be here with you. If you don't yet have a Vendoo account, there's a link in the description as well as in the comments of this video where you can get started with your own free account. You get 5 free listings a month. And then if and when you decide, okay, this is right for me, this will help me with my business. When you decide to go to a paid plan, you also get 25% off your first month with that link. So once again, I am Lee Meyer. If we have not met yet, I am the founder of listingtofreedom.com and the empoweredreseller.com. And I'm happy to be here with you. I am so excited for today's lesson and for this challenge in general. So Vendoo is one of the tools that I use in my own business. I've made over $100,000 flipping used items, mostly clothes. And Vendoo is the cross-listing tool that I personally use. It's the only cross-listing tool that I use so that I can get my items in front of more buyers, so that I can make bigger sales, bigger profits, and move my inventory quicker. So real quick, what you can expect from the challenge. This is a quick recap. If you were here yesterday, it is 3 days. It's happening today, yesterday, and tomorrow. I'll be live for about 30 minutes to talk about cross-listing and how cross-listing can help you in your business. We're also going to be unpacking the other features that Vendoo comes with. It's more than just cross-listing. We're going to be getting into a little bit of that today as well as tomorrow. And then I'm going to save some time at the end of each day of the challenge to be able to come and answer your questions and get your questions answered. So I'm not going to be able to like pop back and forth between the screen that I'm sharing and seeing any questions coming in. So if there's anything that comes up, I'd suggest just popping them into the comments. And then at the end, then I will answer those questions that have come in. Also, since this is a challenge, you're going to get a mini assignment or mini task to complete each day. This is, just something fun. I don't want to load you up with a bunch more work because I know you're busy. You've got other things, other responsibilities. But this is just like a little fun task that you can complete as part of this challenge to help you move forward in your business. Specifically during the challenge, you're going to learn if and when cross-listing could help you. We got into that yesterday, and hopefully you came away with a clear understanding of, if it's for you or not, and maybe how it could help you when you get to that point of, needing it or wanting it in your business. We also got into a little bit of the ins and outs of cross-listing. Yesterday, I showed you how you can import your current listings, your existing listings, into Vendoo and then get them cross-listed out to other platforms. We're going to be going deeper into the actual cross-listing process today. You're also going to learn some tips for speeding things up, as well as strategies for making more sales. So here, real quick, this is our schedule. Yesterday, we just covered some basics about what cross-listing is, why we cross-list, how you can make it a little bit easier, a little less time, and still get the benefits of being able to sell across multiple platforms. Today, day 2, you're going to learn the quickest method, the method for speeding the process up of getting your items out to multiple marketplaces all at once. And then Tomorrow in day 3, we're going to cover the other features of Vendoo besides just the cross listing, including one of my favorite ways to be able to drive sales. Now, before we get going with today's lesson, I wanted to touch on some other tools that you might see to be able to import listings to other platforms. So in yesterday's lesson, we briefly talked about other cross-listing tools. There's other competitors out there besides Vendoo. There's, other software that you can use to cross-list. And we talked a little bit about why I use Vendoo, but then it came to my attention, or it dawned on me, that besides cross-listing tools, there's other, importing tools that you could use. Maybe you still have your pictures on your phone and you could upload them. But there are, like, for example, with Mercari, they recently came out with a new feature to be able to import your listings from eBay or Depop and import them right into Mercari. And so it would pull, let's say you had a listing in eBay and you wanted to bring it to Mercari. That tool inside of Mercari, and this is from their desktop version, it's not available on the app. It will pull your photos from eBay. It'll pull all of your listing details that you have entered into eBay, the title, the description, the brand, all of those things. It'll pull those into Mercari to create a new Mercari listing. And so how is Vendoo different than that? How does it work differently than that? Yes, it does that importing, but the main way that Vendoo's different with that Mercari tool that I mentioned, or any other tool like that, it's basically just copying and pasting your listing into another platform. So it's going to take your eBay listing and then basically make the same identical listing, but on Mercari. How Vendoo is different with that importing tool and just using Vendoo in general is that those listings are actually linked together. So Vendoo knows that the eBay listing, that is the same item as your Mercari listing. It's the same item as your Poshmark listing. If you're just copying and pasting and using a tool like an import tool, like what Mercari has, those listings, the eBay listing and the Mercari listing, are in no way linked. It's just basically pulling that information. And I'll show you a little bit more once we get inside my account, kind of, what this linking means. But it's basically a way to be able to manage your inventory, because you don't want to have some items on one platform, some items on another, and then, where are all of your items? Vendoo gives you that one place where they all are, and you can see, like, okay, this item, it's listed on Poshmark and Facebook Marketplace, or this item, maybe it's listed on eBay and Etsy. Those will all be in Vendoo under one listing. It also allows for things like the auto sales detect, which I will show you here in a second. So hopefully that's clear about how Vendoo is different than just, importing your listings or just kind of copy pasting your listings from platform to platform. All right, so we're going to go ahead and dive into today's lesson. That was just like a little side bonus there. When you're first getting started with Vendoo, you've probably already got items listed on a platform. You've got listings on maybe eBay or Facebook Marketplace or Poshmark or Mercari or Depop or wherever that is. So you're going to want to probably, make use of those listings and use those existing listings to be able to go out to other platforms. So we talked about that yesterday with Vendoo's import feature. So what you would do is you would import your existing listings into Vendoo, and then from there, go ahead and get them cross-posted or cross-listed out to the other platforms. So I showed you yesterday how that all works, how you can use the import and be able to pull in all of those photos that you've already taken, the title, the description, the price, all of those details that you have already entered into whatever platform that you're importing from. And then once it's imported into Vendoo, I showed you this, we walked through that whole process yesterday of how you would take that imported listing and then go and get that listing out to new platforms, because just because you've brought it into Vendoo doesn't mean it's being shown to across all platforms. It's not being shown to the world at that point. You have to actually go and say, hey, I want my item listed on Mercari, or whatever platform that you want it listed on. Now, this whole importing process of creating your listing somewhere else, importing it into Vendoo, and then cross-listing out, that works. And I've actually done it this way for a very, very long time, not just like as somebody who is new to Vendoo. And I have been doing it that way for a long time. So what I've done for years and years is create my listings inside of eBay, because that's what I was used to. That's how I started as a reseller. Vendoo didn't exist. I started selling on eBay. That was the very first platform that I sold on. And so I had figured that out. I knew how to list things on eBay. And so I've just kind of kept doing that. It's like, okay, I'm just going to keep creating my listings. I can do them super fast. It's like, a minute and a half maybe to get an item listed. And so I've just been, doing that because that's what I knew how to do. That's what I've been used to. And so I'd create my listing inside of eBay, and then go into Vendoo, import those new listings that I had just created in Vendoo, that I had just created in eBay, and then take those imported listings, cross-list them out, just like I showed you yesterday. But actually, there is a quicker method, and this is what we're going to be talking about today. So starting just a few months ago, about the beginning of the year, I set out to learn this quicker method, because sometimes when you learn something new, there's a learning curve to it, right? And so whether it's listing an item for the first time, like the first time you ever list on eBay, or the first time you ever list on Mercari or whatever platform, or maybe it's the first time you tried a new brownie recipe, or the first time you baked for the first time. Anytime you try something new, there's going to be a learning curve with it, right? It could be, maybe it was just that importing that I showed you yesterday and the cross-listing. It's like, wow, there's going to be a lot here for me to learn. But maybe it is creating a listing right inside of Vendoo. And that was where I was at with learning how to create that listing right inside of Vendoo. Is anytime you learn something new, it might be a little bit frustrating at first. It might be a little bit slower at first. In some cases, a lot slower if you're trying to figure out, all the things and how to do it. And it can be really easy when you're at that point of trying something new to give up and think, okay, I'm just going to go back to the old way. The old way's faster, the old way's better, whatever. I knew how to do it the old way. But in the long run, creating your listings inside of Vendoo is actually a lot quicker than, creating them elsewhere, then having to import them, then having to cross post them out. And so that was my goal at the beginning of the year, is to, get through that learning process, stumble along, if I got frustrated, not give up on it, because I knew ultimately it was going to be the quicker method. And so that's what I've been doing. That's how I've been listing since about the beginning of the year. So it's been a few months now, but it has drastically cut down on the amount of time that it takes to be able to get my item, listed on multiple platforms, and not just in one place, or not, having to spend a lot of time importing and then cross-listing out. So it has taken a little bit of time. So I feel you if you're, new to Vendoo, or you're like, I want to try this out, but I'm not sure. Anytime you learn something new, it's going to take a little bit of time to, get that down. But it is worth it, being able to list right inside of Vendoo. And so that is what I'm going to show you today. Before we jump on over to my account and to my event inside of Vendoo, I want to make sure that I give you these pro tips, because I don't want to miss out on them. I'm going to try and remember to tell you to them as we get to them inside of my account. Is to start by uploading photos from your phone. So you can, I would also recommend, I'm going to add to that, I would also recommend listing from the desktop. You can certainly list from your phone, and Vendoo is like the only cross-listing tool out there that has an app with basically full capabilities. So that is a possibility if you're like, I don't have a computer, or I don't have a laptop. You can do it all from your phone. I just prefer not to do that because it's not as quick for me typing. I fat finger things. I screw things up. It's much easier for me to type on a computer. And then, it's easier for me personally. Maybe you're a little bit different. So either case, if you're listing from a phone, upload from your phone. If you're listing from the desktop, I'd also recommend uploading from your phone. You're going to be taking pictures from your phone most likely, and that's the easiest way. I do find that the upload tool from the desktop version is quite a bit slower. So if you upload from your phone, they upload really quick. I'm not sure what the reason is. I'm not sure if they're being compressed to a smaller size, and that's why, but it does go a lot quicker from the phone. So I do start by uploading from the phone, saving that listing, and then finishing that listing from the desktop. The second pro tip is to use templates, and I will show you inside, what these templates are and how you can set them up. And then the last couple pro tips are specifically for the eBay form. When you're listing on eBay inside of Vendoo, you need to have your shipping policies set up ahead of time. So if you're an eBay seller, these are under your business policies. And then there's there's a policy specifically for shipping. And these are like, what shipping method you're going to use, how much you're going to charge for that shipping method. What your handling time is. All of that's part of your shipping policies. You're going to want to have those set up in eBay before you use Vendoo. Otherwise, Vendoo isn't going to know what shipping policy you want to use. Once you have those set up, Vendoo will automatically populate the pull down. It knows what your shipping policies are, and they'll be there for you to access. The other pro tip for eBay is as you're listing, and I'm going to make sure that I show you this because it's a little bit easier to show than to explain, if you've listed inside of eBay before, you're going to know like how long that listing form is. Like it just keeps going and going and going, and they want to know this and that and the other thing. Well, inside of Vendoo, all of that's kind of been hidden. It's been maybe compressed so that you don't see all of that. So it looks pretty simple. It looks basically like the other forms look like for Mercari or Poshmark or whatever. So there is a button where it says something like show more or expand. You're going to want to do that so you can see those optional fields for listing. And this is one of the ways that I believe really helps with sales on eBay. If you don't have these filled out, if you don't have, like, let's say the print of the item or the length of the sleeve, there's some other there's a whole bunch of optional fields, the type of the material. If you don't have those filled out, that's going to be less opportunity for you to make sales. So you really need to expand that. It is, you kind of have to think about it as you're going through it. I know the first few times that I was listing inside of Vendoo, that was one of the things I missed because it is easy to pass over. All right, so we're going to go ahead and open up my Vendoo. All right. I just realized I was not sharing my screen. I'm going to go ahead and open up the Vendoo account and then show you what this looks like inside of Vendoo. So I already have some listings. Let me make sure. Okay, internet's a little bit slow this morning. I have some listings here where I have already uploaded the pictures. So I would start from my phone, the Vendoo app in there, and then upload the pictures into a template. So for example, this template, it already has that men's coat as part of the title. These were templates used that didn't have anything in the title. So let me open up one of these. And so at this point, all I have done is uploaded the photos from my phone. It's not listed on anything. So like yesterday when we were importing our listings, this showed that it was listed on eBay because it had been imported from eBay. At this point, With this particular listing, I have started with the template. I've uploaded pictures from my phone. It's not listed anywhere. And so I would come in here with the template. You can actually have a set description of what you're going to have. So for example, I'm still working on getting my templates all set up. And I want to say, maybe I have it in here. Maybe. Okay. Yes. So this is an example of one where I have actually already set this up. So this is a template that I'm using for a men's shirt. And so I do have already my dimensions set up in here, or the field for the dimensions. So for example, for a shirt, I'm always going to have a armpit to armpit dimension. I'm always going to have the length of that shirt. You know, for if I were listing jeans, then that would obviously be different. I'd want to have, you know, the measurement of the waist. I'd want to have the measurement of the rise, the inseam, whatever. So you can set those up so you're not having to re-enter them every time. So I'm going to go ahead and go back to this other one just because I know what it is. You're also going to have this category here. I would recommend when you set up your templates that those templates correspond with a certain category. So for example, this template here is a template for men's coats. I have another template for women's coats. And if you go down to the category, this is, you're going to pre-select this inside of your template. And so I already have that set up to be men's coats. So when I come in to create a listing, I, you know, upload the pictures of that coat. It's already set up for that category. You can also set up things like your weight. You could set up, the other one that I do for all of my templates pretty much is to set up the condition. I do list new items, and but I mostly list pre-owned items. So I'll go ahead and have that already pre-selected so that I'm not having to, you know, choose that every time. If it does happen to be something that's new, then I would just change that. But that, you know, it's a more rare occasion. It's not worth me creating a separate template for that. So hopefully that makes sense. So as you're setting up these templates, it can be a little bit of like, okay, I need to go back and fix this. So this is an example here of, okay, I don't have an armpit to armpit. I don't have a length. So I need to have that in my template. Like that's important to me. So I would add that. That'd be basically the only thing I'd change there. So let me just see what this is. So it's a Levi's 2XL. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to just walk you through this. So Levi's men's coat, I'll say utility, if I can type, cargo brown, canvas, size XXL, rim, so might as well do 2XL too. I would put in my dimensions. I don't have the item like with me as I'm filming this video. And then you're going to fill out the basics. So I'm inside of the Vendoo form. You can tell that because this outline of the form is also yellow. So you'll notice as you go through these different forms, the color always matches. So this is Levi's. And then the nice thing about this is you can actually tab from field to field, and you can go down with the arrow. So this is brown. I'm just going to press tab, and that's going to select that for me. The SKU, I'm going to just say it's my closet shelf for now. I'm not sure where I'm putting it because I'm not actually like in my work area with this item. And then the size was an X, oops, let's see, 2XL. All right, now the weight of this item. So if you're listing a certain type of item, you're going to have a good idea of, you know, approximately what that weight is. And so you don't need to, for shipping, for pretty much everything over a pound, you just need to be to the closest pound. So I always put like 1 pound, 12 ounces, or 2 pounds, 12 ounces. You just need to be within that weight. So this coat is most likely in the 1 to 2. I would weigh this if I was actually in my work area with my scale, but it doesn't get good internet for filming videos or streaming live. So I'm going to leave this as is. This 1 pound, 12 ounces covers pretty much most coats. It also covers, you know, jeans if I were in a jean template. And then I'm going to go ahead and give this a price. I'm going to say $22.99. There are some other things in here, like where you can enter the cost of goods. So you can put in how much you paid for the item. So maybe I purchased it for $5. I could go ahead and pop that in, whatever that is, if that's something that you want to keep track of, because Vendoo will is able to keep track of your profit. And so, obviously the cost of goods is part of your profit if that's something that you want to, enter and that you want it to keep track of for you. The other thing to be aware of with these listings is you can enter labels. And so these are all labels that I set up. And this is just a way for you to be able to better sort items, better, manage your inventory. And so I've set up some different labels. I was just playing around. I don't personally use these. I was just kind of playing around to see how this works. I should say I'm not using them currently. It may change, but I did set some up for like fall, summer, winter, the different holidays, so that I would be able to see those items. I did set up multi-quantity. So if I have an item that has, 5 of all one, that I would be able to just pull up those items and see, how that's doing. And it will manage multi-quantity. If you're wondering, Vendoo will manage that. So I'm going to select this just for fun, just to show you. And again, you can type. So let's say fall, I don't have to use my mouse and cursor. I can just hit F and it's going to go there. So I hit F and then tab. Oops, maybe it doesn't work on this. There we go, enter. And that works the same for any of these. Is you can press like brown, BR, there we go. And you can get to it that way. So you're not having to, use a lot of cursor, or I'm all about the shortcuts. So when you get done with that, you're going to hit save. That's really important because, you want to save that item. And then you can go through just like we did yesterday. I am going to spend maybe a smidge more time walking you through this because I did fly through it pretty quickly. But you can see that it's already brought in the title. It's brought in that description. It's brought in the brand, the color, the SKU. So I'm not having to re-enter any of those things. Now, this is the section that I'm talking about with eBay. So you'll see, for example, there's men's. I'm going to say this is cotton. If I type regular style, we'll call it military type coat. So I'm typing on my keyboard. I'm not actually, pressing that. I just type C and it's going to come up as coat, CO, let's say. There's the description, condition description, because eBay is the one platform that has that field for condition description. So you'll see that there. This is the button where I'm talking about, where you need to actually expand to be able to show these other fields. So it's not going to just automatically show these fields. Oops, I don't want beaded. And so there's certain ones that I'm going to do depending on the item and depending on the category that it is. So for example, the closure, that's one that I always do. So closure is zip. Let's see. Pattern is another one that I always do for pretty much every item. So that's solid. There's no, plaid or stripes going on. And then depending on what the category that you're listing in, these are going to change. So if it's a shirt, it would ask the sleeve length. So is it sleeveless? Is it long sleeve? Is it short sleeve? You're going to see that here in the optional fields. If it's jeans, you're going to find things like the rise. Is it high rise, low rise, medium rise? That's not going to be found up here in the required category specifics. It's going to be in these optional fields. And so I really recommend using those, whether you're listing in eBay or not, using those because it helps buyers find those items that they're looking for. All right, so you've got that. And then this is where all of your shipping policies are. So these are all being pulled in from eBay. So these are all things that I have set up, all shipping policies that I have set up for myself inside of the business policies in eBay. Once you've got that set up, Vendoo knows to pull those in. And so for this particular item, I'm going to see if I can, it's not going to go that. This is a new one that I just created, that is Ground Advantage for items over £1. and I'm going to charge $8.99. So I've already set this up in my title of the shipping policy in Vendoo. So hopefully that makes sense. And if you see this little save thing here, icon, you can click that and then it'll know like when you create a new eBay listing that's what you want for the default. I don't want to change that. I liked the one that it has, so I'm just going to leave that. But these have all been saved, so I don't have to re-enter them every single time. And then from there, it's going to pull in my buy it now price. You can list auction style, and I just tried this out a few days ago. So that is another option. If you're like, hey, I want to list auction style on eBay, then you can do that. So I'm going to go ahead and click list. It's sometimes it'll sit there and think for a little bit, but oh yeah, there. So it says listing. While it's doing that, you can go ahead and move on. So you can see how it says listing. You can go ahead and move on to the next field. And so this is kind of what we walked through yesterday. So rather than showing you that same thing, I want to show you a couple other things. So you just walk through it just like we did yesterday with Poshmark. Fill out the couple of items that need filled out. So example, this is a little weird on Poshmark is that you have to do US or you have to do big and tall to get to XXL. It's just one of the things with Poshmark. But from there, it's pretty much ready for me to list. So I'm going to click list, and then I would go through and do the same with Mercari. What I do want to show you with the rest of the time that we have left is a couple of things. First, the auto sales detect. So I'm here in the sold items, and these are the items that I've sold in the last probably since last night. So 4 items, and then it'll show here this item, for example, it sold on Mercari. This other one sold on eBay. And so these have automatically been pulled in. It's showing the last auto detection was 2 minutes ago. So it's pulled those in. It's refreshing constantly to see, did something sell? And then if something sells, it will automatically delist that item from the other platforms for you. And you do not have to have that delist, relist add-on that we talked about yesterday for this to work. This capability of the auto sales detect is for everybody that is using Vendoo. And this is one of the reasons if you're going back and forth between, maybe another cross lister in Vendoo, this is one of the things that makes Vendoo stand out is this ability to auto sales detect your sales. And so you're going to see that there are no icons down here. If there happened to be an icon, like let's say this item sold, but I had a pending offer on Poshmark, it's not going to be able to delist that, and it'll show that it's still listed on Poshmark. In this case, with all of the items that's shown, there's no icon. So it means they've all been delisted, automatically for me. And so I can come in and add sales details if I want, for how much that item actually sold for. So this one did sell on a best offer. This was really weird. I sent out an offer for $12.36, and the person came back in and offered like $12.76. They offered me more. They countered for more. So I'll take that. I'm not sure what's going on here with, there we go, with that. So you can come in and put in the actual price that it sold for. What's going on? This is not a feature that I use, so I could totally be doing this wrong. So $12.76. And then it'll allow you here to put in the cost of the item again if you had not put in your cost of goods already. And then the marketplace fee. So it's going to check, or it's going to, for the marketplaces that it can, this sometimes is automatically populated. So for example, Poshmark, where it's pretty straightforward. eBay is really complicated because it depends on the platform you're listing on. It depends on if you have top rated seller status or not. It depends on a lot of things. So I would recommend, if this is something where you want it to keep track of your fees for you, that you find those and then enter them yourself. And then as well as any shipping expense that you may have encountered. For me, I'm paying for this label, and the person paid for the label inside of Mercari. I'm going to print the label inside of Mercari. So this is pretty irrelevant. So I'm just going to go ahead and save that. That kind of shows you how this auto sales detect works. And then you can hit this button down here. I'm not Not sure what's going on here. Okay, you can hit this button down here where it says clear all sales detected. So that's normally what I do. So I don't spend time entering those things myself. I probably should, but I just come in and clear them. So I know that, okay, all of these sales, yes, they've come in. They're the items that I actually need to ship still this morning. And then it's all up to date. If something happens to come in after now, then it'll show here in the auto sales detect. The other thing that I want to show is where you get to the templates. So it's a little bit weird. It's in settings and then template manager. So there's a whole list of templates here. Actually, I have 27 that's showing. And these are all templates that I've created. And so you're just going to do this if you're, if you're new to Vendoo and you haven't made a template before, this is going to be blank. There's not going to be anything there. And so you're going to need to come in and actually create a template. Now this looks identical to like actually listing an item, right? But it's your template. So you can upload photos. I would recommend, not uploading photos because you're probably going to have different photos for different items, right? But you could put in the title. So say, for example, that men's coat. And then I can put that in since I need to fix this link. Whoa, if I can type. And have those in there. You can put in whatever else in here. So let's say that, all items come from a smoke-free, pet-free home or whatever it is that you want to say for standard language. You can put that in there as well. And then that's going to go for all of the templates that use that listing. I'd recommend leaving the brands because unless you're listing all of the same brand. That pre-owned you can select because, if you're listing a lot of pre-owned or mostly pre-owned, then that's going to save you some time there. And then here's where you're going to choose your category. So let's say men's coat, men's coat jacket, vest. And so then that way you're not having to choose that category every time. You're probably, maybe going to be listing mostly regular sizes. So you could go ahead and put that in. You could put in your weight, whatever, is going to be most relevant to that category and that type of item that you're listing. And then this is the other kind of little trick here. If you click save, this is going to actually create an item, but you don't want to do that. You want to create a new template. So it's hidden down here at the bottom. And so I would press that to create a new template. I'm going to call this men's coat since I needed to update this one anyway, and call it new or updated. I could have also started with that template and then hit save template. Okay, so I'm going to go back to where the templates are. And you can only right now, like, let's say I needed to update that coat. So here's the old one that's not updated. Right, as of right now, you can only update the name and the description. You can't go in and change like the weight of the item or what you have for your measurements. So that's why you need to create a new one, or you could use template and then, create a new template that way. So hopefully that makes sense. And then I'm just going to go ahead and delete that one because that's the old one. I don't need that one anymore. All right. Okay, so for today's challenge, if you're brand new and you're like, okay, I want to try out creating a template, then your challenge for today is to go in and create at least one template. You could create 5 templates, but I would recommend for your templates that they match your categories. So let's say you're going to be listing in women's tops, then I would make a template for women's tops. If you're going to be listing men's button-up shirts, make a template for men's button-up shirts. If you're listing women's jeans, template for men's jeans. So hopefully that makes sense. If you're a little bit farther along and you're like, okay, I want to do more than that. I want to do more than create just a template. Then I want you to create a template, or if you already have them set up, then go ahead and create a listing from that template and then cross list. And I'm going to leave this up to you, but I put 5 items just as a suggestion, just so you can go in and try that out. And again, you get 5 listings free with the free with the free version of Vendoo. So that's totally possible. If you're like, okay, I'm not quite ready to pay for Vendoo yet, you can go in and get 5 items cross listed. All right, so coming up tomorrow, I will be back tomorrow at the same time, and we will be diving into the other features of Vendoo. I've barely just scratched the surface of everything that Vendoo is capable of. And we're also going to talk about one of my favorite ways, one of the easiest ways to be able to use Vendoo to make more sales. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the screen share. Let's see. And if there are any questions about anything that I've covered, I feel like I've talked really fast and covered a lot. So totally understand if there's any questions about how Vendoo works, using Vendoo in your own business. I'm happy to stick around just a bit longer and answer any questions about how cross-listing can help you, how Vendoo can help you make more money, get your items in front of more buyers. So I shared with you guys yesterday an example. So like yesterday, I had three eBay sales and then 2 Poshmark sales. Today, an example of what I have, you guys saw it in my sold item details, but I have 3 items on eBay and then 1 item on Mercari. And so that kind of just goes to show you, like, you can sell across multiple platforms and make sales on multiple platforms without it taking too much more effort. If I were just selling on eBay, I probably would have just had the 3 each day, but it's like increased my sales by approximately 30% between the 2 days. So thanks so much for hanging out with me, and I will see you back here tomorrow for the last day of the challenge. See you soon.